And welcome back, guys. I know some of you have been wondering where we're going with the Falcon. About a month ago we dynoed the 430 Windsor, and so now that the engine building process is done, the motor's ready to drop into the car. So I wanted to give you guys an update right off the bat. For those of you who have not been following, we are ready to swap out the 408 Windsor for a 430 Windsor. I know it may not seem like a lot, you know, to swap one motor out for another. Similar like motors. This motor makes about 500 horsepower, 550, somewhere in there, and about 550 pounds of torque. The 430 Windsor made 716 horsepower and 592 pounds of torque. The difference between this motor and the 408 that's in the car now is that the 408's about 10.5 to 1 compression. It's a hydraulic roller setup. It's a very streetable but very healthy naturally aspirated deal. The 430 on the other hand is a little bit more turned up. It's 13 to 1 compression ratio. It'll run off E85 primarily as its fuel. So we will be swapping out the fuel system for this entire setup to support the 430. The 430 also will take up to a 500 shot of nitrous. The number one candidate right now for nitrous is going to be an Induction Solutions sledgehammer kit that will support increments of 50 all the way from 50 horsepower up to 650 horsepower shot of nitrous. So that is where we're going with the power plant. So one of the challenges that we're going to have to overcome is the exhaust, and particularly the headers. The headers on this thing are Hedman 1 7/8 step to 2-inch primary headers. However, this 408 has a set of Victor Juniors. Victor Juniors have an exhaust ports that are raised 1/8 of an inch. And so that's not so much the challenge as much as the bolt spacing. The 430 Windsor has Trick Flow Twisted Wedge 225Rs. The Trick Flow Twisted Wedge R series heads have a 1/2 inch raised exhaust bolt or exhaust ports, but also 2 3/4 inch bolt spacing. So what this means is basically I'm gonna have to have a set of headers made, or hopefully have a header guy remove the flanges and weld on some new flanges with the proper bolt spacing in order to make the motor swap work. Otherwise, I'm looking at custom headers. The only downside of custom headers is 1, the cost, but 2 is the time. Once I knew that I potentially would have to have custom headers made for the 430, I immediately reached out to Sanderson Headers down in San Francisco, and this was back in mid-September. And the earliest date they had on their calendar was January 7th. So here we are mid-October, and as you know, time flies. I mean, once after Halloween gets here, the holidays roll on by, and before you know it, you're at Christmas Eve, New Year's, and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of where we're at right now. The other challenge for the Falcon is going to be, do I keep the shock towers, which are outfitted with a Chris Austin chassis work coilover conversion system? Works pretty good, handles phenomenally, especially with this wheel and tires stance I have on there. The other thing is going with the Chris Austin G machine front suspension conversion and just eliminating the shock towers completely. That'll give me tons of room in the engine bay, but also clean up the engine bay for future maintenance and servicing. So that is something I had thought about. You guys let me know what you think I should do. Should I keep the shock towers, or should I go with the Chris Austin G machine? Obviously that's gonna require some fabrication, time, and you know, so that's one of the things that I'm considering doing. I just wanted to give you guys a status update on kind of where things are now. The motor is sitting ready to go, and it's been a while. I know it's taken me, you know, about a month, and I still haven't started the swap, but this is not a process that I want to rush. It's not something I want to rush, but trust me, just having a 430 inch 700 plus horsepower 13-in-1 small block sitting in the garage. You know, it is. So that's where we're at. If you guys want a separate video, I can go over the specs of this motor, give it to you from oil pan all the way up to carb spacer. Maybe I'll do a separate video on that. But for now, I just wanted to keep you guys updated. Shout out to the Ford Falcon pages, and shout out to Ford Small Block Race Engines, both on Facebook. As a reminder, if you guys like the content that I've been sharing about the Ford Falcon community and Ford Falcon content, smash that like button and go ahead and subscribe. And more to follow. We look forward to seeing you soon. Peace.